Have you ever met someone who seems lucky without trying, yet their eyes still carry a quiet tiredness? Have you ever felt like your life keeps giving you opportunities and also tests your patience at the exact same time? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are exploring the meaning people often attach to being born on the 21st. And we are going to do it in a way that stays grounded and useful. The point is not to worship a number like it is a magic key. The point is to use the symbol of a number as a mirror for self-awareness, so we can live with more wisdom, more compassion, and a cleaner relationship with destiny. Here are the two ideas I want to hold from the beginning, and then we will let the story carry the rest. First, the 21 energy is often described as a bridge between expansion and responsibility, meaning you may feel called to grow fast, travel far, learn many things, and yet you are also asked to mature and stabilize your heart. Second, the real secret is not what the number promises you, but what it demands from you. Because every gift becomes a burden when it is not guided by awareness. Let us start with a story. Imagine a person named Jordan. Not the real name, but a real pattern. Jordan was born on the 21st. Growing up, Jordan seemed to have a strange kind of momentum. Teachers would say Jordan was bright. Friends would say Jordan was fun. Family members would say Jordan was destined for something big. And Jordan believed it, not in an arrogant way, more in a hungry way, like someone staring at a distant mountain and feeling both excitement and pressure. Jordan could walk into a room and make people laugh, but the laughter had a secret purpose. It was a shield. Jordan could adapt to any group, any vibe, any expectation. Jordan could be the responsible one at home, the confident one at school, the chill one with friends, the ambitious one with mentors. Everyone saw a version of Jordan that fit what they needed. Jordan even started to feel proud of that skill. It felt like power. But a strange thing happens when you can be everything for everyone. You start losing the feeling of being someone for yourself. You become a bridge, but you forget you are also a person who needs rest. When people talk about the 21 in numerology, many focus on surface traits. They say it is social. They say it is creative. They say it is lucky. They say it is charismatic. Sometimes they describe it as the energy of completion and celebration, like reaching a milestone. And yes, those are common themes people associate with it. But the deeper story is that celebration without wisdom turns into escape, and charisma without compassion turns into manipulation, and success without inner clarity turns into emptiness. Jordan learned this the hard way. In late teenage years, Jordan started chasing experiences like a collector chasing rare coins. New friends, new parties, new hobbies, new plans, new relationships. Jordan loved the feeling of possibility, the feeling that life was wide open. And for a while, it felt like the universe was saying yes to everything. Then the first serious heartbreak arrived. Jordan fell for someone named Riley. Riley was not flashy, but Riley was steady. Riley listened. Riley remembered small details. Riley made Jordan feel calm in a way Jordan did not understand at first. And for a moment, Jordan thought, maybe this is it. Maybe the big destiny is not a career or a stage. Maybe it is peace. But Jordan did not know how to hold peace. Peace felt unfamiliar. Peace had too much silence in it. And in that silence, Jordan could hear the inner questions that had been hidden by constant movement. Who am I when no one needs me to be entertaining? Who am I when I am not performing? Why do I feel guilty when I rest? Why do I feel anxious when life is stable? Jordan started to overthink the relationship. Jordan started to create problems just to feel alive again. Jordan would test Riley. Jordan would pull away to see if Riley would chase. Jordan would flirt with other options. Not because Jordan wanted to cheat, but because Jordan wanted proof that Jordan was still powerful. And Riley, who valued sincerity, felt confused and hurt. Eventually, Riley ended the relationship gently but firmly. Riley said, "I care about you, but you do not seem present. You are always halfway somewhere else. I do not want a partner who treats love like a game. Jordan heard those words and felt something collapse inside. Not only the relationship, but the image Jordan had of being the good way, the lucky one, the charming one. For the first time, Jordan felt the shadow side of the 21 energy. The shadow side is not evil. It is entrained power. Many traditions teach that every blessing comes with a lesson. In Buddhist language, you could say each tendency is a seed. If you water the seed of restlessness, you harvest distraction. If you water the seed of craving, you harvest dissatisfaction. If you water the seed of compassion, you harvest peace. The number is not the seed. Your repeated intention is the seed. Jordan began searching for answers. At first, Jordan searched outside. Numerology videos, personality systems, spiritual reading, anything that could explain why love went wrong. Jordan wanted a simple verdict. Jordan wanted to hear, "You are born this way, so it is not your fault," or "You have a special destiny, so it will all work out." But the more Jordan listened, the more Jordan felt a deeper truth. Destiny without practice is just fantasy. So Jordan did something unexpected. Jordan stopped searching for promises and started searching for wisdom. Jordan found a quiet teacher in an ordinary place. Not a famous guru. Just an older neighbor who had a calm presence. The neighbor did not care about numerology. The neighbor cared about how Jordan treated people, how Jordan spoke to self, how Jordan handled pain. One evening, Jordan confessed everything. The heartbreak, the shame, the confusion. Jordan said, "I think my number means I am meant for big things, but I keep sabotaging what matters. What is wrong with me?" The neighbor listened, then asked a question that landed like a bell in a silent room. "When you say big things, do you mean big applause or big heart?" Jordan did not know how to answer. That question became the doorway. If you are born on the 21st, many numerology systems break it down as 2 and 1, and also as the total 3. People interpret 2 as partnership, sensitivity, harmony. People interpret 1 as individuality, leadership, initiative. People interpret 3 as expression, creativity, joy. If you take those symbols as a story, the 21 becomes a journey of learning how to be yourself without abandoning connection, and learning how to connect without erasing yourself, and then expressing that balance into the world as something uplifting. That sounds beautiful, but it is also difficult, because the tension between 1 and 2 is real. 1 wants freedom, 2 wants belonging. 1 wants to push forward, 2 wants to consider others. When the balance is off, you either become self-centered and lonely, or you become people-pleasing and resentful. The mature form is to lead with compassion, meaning you can act with courage while staying kind. Jordan realized the pattern. In relationships, Jordan wanted the warmth of 2, but feared the vulnerability it required. Jordan wanted the independence of 1, but used it as an excuse to avoid accountability. Jordan loved the fun of 3, but used fun to escape discomfort. Jordan was living the gifts as distractions, not as wisdom. So Jordan chose a practice, a simple daily practice, not a dramatic transformation. Every morning, Jordan would sit for 10 minutes in silence. No phone, no music, no scrolling, just breath. At first it was unbearable. The mind raced. The body wanted to move. The old restlessness screamed. But Jordan stayed. In that stillness, Jordan began to see something important. Restlessness is not a personality. It is a strategy. It is the nervous system trying to avoid feeling. Once Jordan saw that, the idea of karmic patterns started making sense. Karma is not punishment. Karma is momentum. If you have spent years using movement to avoid pain, the momentum will keep pushing you into movement until you consciously choose another direction. The 21 energy, in this lens, is powerful momentum. It can carry you into growth, or it can carry you into endless chasing. Jordan kept practicing, and then Jordan began repairing. Not only romantic repair, but inner repair. Jordan wrote a letter to Riley. Jordan did not ask for Riley back. Jordan apologized for the emotional games in the half-presence. Jordan acknowledged the hurt. Jordan expressed gratitude for the lesson. Jordan sent it without expectation. That act did something unexpected. The shame softened. Because wise action is the cleanest way to clear inner debt. If guilt says you must suffer, wisdom says you must learn. Jordan started learning. Now let us talk about the 21 on destiny in a way that is actually helpful. If you were born on the 21st, you may notice certain recurring themes. Whether you believe in numerology literally, or you simply use it as reflection. Many people with this birthday feel pulled toward expansion. They want to experience more. They feel curious. They often have a social magnetism. Not always loud, sometimes quiet but warm. They may have a talent for connecting different groups, being the bridge, translating between worlds, mixing creativity with leadership. But expansion has a shadow. Expansion can become avoidance. Expansion can become restlessness. Expansion can become the inability to commit. So one of the core lessons is commitment. Not only committing to a person, but committing to a practice, committing to truth, committing to your own inner development. People sometimes describe the 21 as lucky. But luck is not only external events. Luck is also the ability to meet events with skill. You can be given opportunities, but if you lack stability, you will burn them. Real luck is when your inner character is ready for the gifts life sends. In many wisdom tradition, character is destiny. Not in a moralistic way, but in a practical way. If you habitually lie, your world becomes confusing. If you habitually overpromise, your world becomes stressful. If you habitually avoid, your world becomes unstable. If you habitually act with compassion and clarity, your world becomes more trustworthy. That is karma, as lived reality. So the question is not, what does the number 21 guarantee? The question is, what kind of person are you becoming with the energy you have? Jordan began to notice that when Jordan acted from clarity, life felt smoother, not perfect, but aligned. When Jordan acted from craving, life felt chaotic. Again, not punishment, but consequence. Then another chapter of the story arrived. Jordan received a job offer that looked like the dream. Better pay, more attention, more travel. Friends congratulated Jordan. Family members said, "See, you were born for big things." Jordan felt the old excitement return. The old hunger, the desire to prove. But Jordan also felt something new. A pause, a quiet voice asking, "Is this aligned with big heart?" The job required long hours and constant networking. Jordan knew the environment would reward charm but not depth. Jordan also knew that Jordan had a tendency to lose self in external validation. Jordan could feel the karmic trap opening. So Jordan made a different choice. Jordan negotiated. Jordan asked for boundaries. Jordan asked for time. Jordan asked for a role that allowed creativity without constant performance. The company resisted. Jordan walked away. People called Jordan crazy, but Jordan felt peace. This is the mature 21 energy. Choosing wisely, even when the world claps for the wrong thing. In Buddhist terms, that is renunciation. Not renouncing life, but renouncing craving. Renouncing the chase for applause. Renouncing the addiction to being wanted. Renouncing the habit of confusing attention with love. Jordan then built a different path. Slower growth, deeper work, more integrity. Jordan started creating something meaningful, helping others with communication and emotional clarity. Jordan began teaching younger people how to set boundaries and still be kind. Jordan began becoming the bridge in a conscious way, not a self-sacrificing way. Now you might be thinking, this is a nice story, but what does it mean for me? If you resonate with the 21 themes, here are the experiences that often show up. Again, not as fate, but as tendencies. You may feel pulled between freedom and closeness. You may want intimacy and also fear being trapped. You may crave novelty and also crave stability. You may be talented at making people feel good and then feel empty because you do not feel known. You may be good at starting things and struggle with finishing. You may have bursts of inspiration and then drop projects when the excitement fades. None of these are curses. They are training grounds. The training is to build inner stability, so your gifts can become service instead of self-sabotage. One of the most powerful practices for this is truthfulness. Not harsh honesty, but gentle truth. Saying what you mean. Meaning what you say. Not performing emotions to get reactions. Not hiding emotions to avoid discomfort. Just simple truth. Another practice is discipline, but not punishment. Discipline as devotion. A daily habit that keeps you connected to your center. Meditation, journaling, prayer, walking, creative work, anything that trains you to stay with yourself. Another practice is compassion, especially self-compassion. People with strong outward charm sometimes carry hidden self-criticism. They feel they must always be bright, always be helpful, always be impressive. That pressure is exhausting. Compassion softens the pressure. Compassion says, I am allowed to be human. I am allowed to be quiet. I am allowed to be imperfect. And this is where the spiritual heart of the message lies. Wisdom and compassion together clear karma. Wisdom sees patterns. Compassion heals patterns. Wisdom without compassion becomes cold self-judgment. Compassion without wisdom becomes enabling and repetition. Together they become liberation. Jordan kept growing. And then life brought a new relationship. Jordan met someone named Avery. Avery was not impressed by charm alone. Avery valued sincerity. Avery could enjoy fun, but did not use fun to avoid depth. Avery would ask direct questions and wait patiently for real answers. At first, Jordan felt nervous. Not excited nervous, but exposed nervous. The old self wanted to impress. The new self wanted to be honest. Jordan practiced. On their third date, Avery asked, "What are you afraid of in love?" Jordan paused. The old Jordan would joke. The old Jordan would flirt. The old Jordan would change the topic. But Jordan took a breath and said, "I am afraid of losing myself, and I am afraid of being truly seen. I used to run when things got deep. I am learning not to." Avery nodded. Avery said, "Thank you. I am afraid too. But I would rather learn with truth than play games with fear." That sentence became a vow. Not a vow of possession, a vow of practice. This is another crucial lesson for 21 energy. Love is not a carnival ride. Love is a path. If you treat love like entertainment, you will chase intensity. If you treat love like a path, you will build trust. Trust is the quiet miracle that many people miss because it does not feel like fireworks. Jordan and Avery faced conflict, of course, but Jordan stayed. Jordan learned to pause instead of react. Jordan learned to listen. Jordan learned to apologize without collapsing into shame. Jordan learned to set boundaries without aggression. Jordan learned the difference between independence and avoidance. And as Jordan learned, the feeling of fate changed. At first, Jordan believed fate was a script written by numbers. Later, Jordan realized fate is the direction of your habits. When you change habits, you change destiny. This is consistent with karmic teaching. Karma is intention plus action repeated over time. Change the intention. Change the action. The momentum shifts. Now, I want to bring in another layer that people often associate with 21. The theme of worldly success and spiritual growth meeting each other. In many systems, 3 energy, which is the sum of 2 and 1, is linked to expression, joy, communication, creativity. People born on the 21st often have a gift for words, storytelling, entertaining. But the spiritual question is, what are you expressing? Are you expressing wisdom or are you expressing distraction? If your voice is strong, use it to heal, not to manipulate. If your charm is strong, use it to uplift, not to collect validation. If your creativity is strong, use it to serve truth, not to escape pain. When you align gifts with compassion, your life feels meaningful. Meaning is the nourishment that prevents burnout. Jordan started using creativity differently. Instead of chasing attention, Jordan created content that helped people communicate better, heal relationships, and understand their own patterns. Jordan learned that true influence is not how many people clap, but how many people become kinder because you exist. This is the kind of karmic clearing that matters. When your life reduces suffering, your life becomes a blessing. Now, some of you may be curious about compatibility and how 21 might relate to relationships. I will keep it grounded. If you resonate with 21 themes, you may do best with partners and friends who value sincerity, who can handle your social nature without needing to control it, and who can encourage your growth without shaming you. You may struggle with people who punish you for needing space, and you may also struggle with people who enable your avoidance. The healthy middle is someone who respects your independence and also expects your presence. The comic pitfall is choosing partners who feel like a chase. The chase can be addictive. It makes you feel alive, but it often keeps you stuck in craving. The spiritual invitation is to choose what is calm and true, even if it feels less dramatic. Another theme is responsibility. Energy wants harmony, but sometimes it becomes over-responsibility, carrying other people's emotions. Energy wants autonomy, but sometimes it becomes selfishness. The wisdom is to care without carrying, to lead without dominating, to help without rescuing. Jordan learned this in family life too. Jordan had a younger sibling who always asked for help, always had a crisis. Jordan used to rush in, fix everything, and then feel resentful. Jordan thought that was love, but it was not love. It was control mixed with guilt. Jordan learned to practice compassionate boundaries. Jordan would say, "I care about you, and I believe you can handle this. I will support you, but I will not solve it for you." At first, the sibling got angry. Then, the sibling grew, and Jordan felt lighter. This is also karmic transformation, because rescuer patterns create dependency. Dependency creates resentment. Resentment creates distance. Compassionate boundaries create growth. As Jordan practiced these lessons, Jordan began to feel something that people often call spiritual alignment. Life still had challenges, but Jordan no longer felt dragged by chaos. Jordan felt guided by values. Now let me share a reflection that often lands for people who feel connected to 21 symbolism. If you have a gift for expansion, the world will tempt you to expand outward forever. More experiences, more people, more achievements. But the soul asks for a different expansion too. Expansion inward, deeper self-knowledge, deeper patience, deeper compassion, deeper surrender. Surrender is not giving up. It is releasing the obsession to control every outcome. It is trusting that you can meet what comes with wisdom. It is accepting impermanence. Everything changes. Relationships change. Feelings change. Plans change. The 21 energy can either fight change by chasing new stimulation, or it can embrace change by becoming flexible and grounded. The grounded version is what some would call awaken. Awakening is not a mystical badge. It is the moment you stop lying to yourself. It is the moment you see your patterns without excuses. It is the moment you choose kindness, even when fear wants control. It is the moment you stop using people as mirrors for validation and start seeing them as human beings with hearts. Jordan became more awake, and the most visible sign was not success. It was gentleness. Jordan stopped needing to win every conversation. Jordan stopped needing to be the funniest person in the room. Jordan started listening more. Jordan started choosing fewer friendships but deeper ones. Jordan started living like time is precious. Time being precious is one of the greatest teachers. When you realize life is short, you stop wasting it on games. You start living with intention. That is wisdom. Now I want to speak to the part of you that might be watching this because you are afraid. Maybe you were born on the 21st and you worry that you are too restless to commit. Maybe you worry you will always sabotage. Maybe you worry you are destined to repeat mistakes. Please hear this clearly. Destiny is not a prison. Patterns are not permanent. The moment you bring awareness, you begin rewriting the script. If you feel the pull to chase, pause and breathe. If you feel the urge to perform, pause and return to truth. If you feel shame, meet it with compassion. If you hurt someone, repair with humility. These are not dramatic steps, but they are powerful. They clear karmic momentum one choice at a time. And if you are not born on the 21st, the message still applies. Numbers are just symbols. The real point is the human journey. We all have gifts. We all have shadows. We all have lessons. The path is to turn gifts into service and shadows into wisdom. Now, before we end, let me offer a longer closing story that ties it all together. Years later, Jordan runs into Riley by chance. They are older now. The meeting is calm. They talk like to people who survived their younger selves. Riley smiles and says, "You seem different. You seem quieter." Jordan laughs gently and says, "I finally learned how to sit still." Riley asks, "What changed?" Jordan thinks for a moment and says, "I stopped treating my life like a performance. I started treating it like practice. I realized every time I ran, I was not escaping pain. I was postponing growth. And I got tired of postponing." Riley nods. Riley says, "I am glad. Not for me. For you." They part with kindness. No longing. No regret. Just a clean feeling. That is what karmic clearing looks like. Not getting everything back. Getting yourself back. Jordan goes home and sits with Avery on the couch. Avery asks how it went. Jordan says it felt like closing an old book respectfully. Avery squeezes Jordan's hand. They sit quietly for a moment. The silence is warm. That warm silence is the treasure many people miss. It is not flashy. It is not a story you brag about. But it is peace. And peace is often the true destiny. Thank you for spending this time with me. If you were born on the 21st, I would love to hear what parts of this felt familiar. If you were not, I would still love to hear what patterns you are learning to transform. Share your story in the comments in your own words. If you want more long-form talks about destiny, karma, wisdom, compassion, and the practice of becoming a kinder, stronger human being, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and leave a comment so this community can keep growing. And if you want to support the work even more, consider joining as a member. Until next time, keep practicing, keep choosing truth over performance, and keep walking the path where your gifts become blessings for the world.